Have you ever wondered why INFPs seem to be so different than most people? Let's dive into the 4 cognitive functions that shape their personality and decision-making processes. I'm Matt Sherman, an INFP. Welcome to Geek Psychology. Introverted feeling FI is the dominant function. This function is like an internal value system that is constantly evaluating experiences based on personal beliefs and emotions. How does this sit with me? How do I feel about this? Imagine an INFP at a crossroads, deciding between a high-paying job and a lower-paying role at a nonprofit organization. While others might see the choice as obvious, the INFP often delves deep into their values, weighing each option against their internal ethical framework. Even simple decisions like what do I eat tonight can be very difficult for INFPs because we bring everything into this strangely illogical decision-making process. Now, it is rational. There is reason to it, but it is not objective. It's subjective. It's personal. It's about how do we feel about this? How do we value each of these things? To understand FI in INFPs, consider these steps. First, observe their strong reactions to perceived injustices. Then notice how they make decisions based on what feels right. Then pay attention to their need for authenticity in all aspects of life. And finally, watch how they empathize deeply with others, their emotions, their struggles, especially underdogs. Think of an INFP artist who refuses to sell their work to a company whose values that they disagree with, even if it means financial struggle. The starving artist. This decision, while seemingly irrational to others, aligns perfectly with their internal value system. We just cannot do something that goes against our values. And on those rare cases that we do something that goes against our values, it haunts us for the rest of our life. I know. Introverted feeling may not always be logical. It might not make logical sense to outsiders, but it provides INFPs with a consistent values-based approach to life that deeply feels authentic to INFPs. And each INFP likely has a different set of values as well. Next, extroverted intuition, NE, the auxiliary function. What if your mind was constantly connecting dots that others couldn't even see? That's extroverted intuition for INFPs. This function acts like a creative idea generator battery. It's constantly seeking out new possibilities and patterns and options in the external world and in idea space. Think of NE as a child in a candy store, excited by all the colorful options and imagining endless combinations. For INFPs, this translates into a rich inner world of ideas and a knack for seeing potential in various situations. To recognize NE in INFPs, first listen to their often abstract ideas, their metaphorical way of speaking. Notice how they can generate multiple solutions to a problem. Then observe their enthusiasm for brainstorming and exploring ideas. Finally, pay attention to their ability to see connections between seemingly unrelated concepts, ideas, situations. Imagine an INFP writer who starts with a simple prompt and then spins it into an entire fantasy world, complete with its own history, culture, magic system. This is NE at work, expanding on possibilities and creating something new, innovating from just one small little springboard of an idea. While NE can sometimes lead INFPs to feel overwhelmed by options or prone to daydreaming, it's also the source of our creativity and our ability to see outside the box, to exist in a space of wonder and curiosity. Third, introverted sensing, SI, the tertiary function. Think of past experiences as a rich database, a movie that you can draw from at any moment for new insights through reflecting over what happened in the past and revivifying it, reliving what happened in the past. That's introverted sensing for INFPs. This function acts as a personal historian, storing detailed sensory information and personal experiences. It's like a little stenographer next to you, just typing away all the time. I think that's the word. Stenographer. Think of SI as a comforting old photo album. It's full of vivid memories and familiar sensations, smells, different tactile sensory experiences. Hopefully it smells good. For INFPs, this manifests as a strong attachment to personal history and a tendency to compare present experiences with past ones. Unfortunately, because it is our tertiary function, we get stuck in it sometimes in negative ways, where we are only looking to the past for validation on why we are incapable, why we are not good enough. So it takes some work. And it also leads to this comfort zone seeking sensation where we don't want to get outside. We don't want to expand our horizons and lean into extroverted intuition. So how do you spot introverted sensing in INFPs? First, notice their nostalgic tendencies. Then observe how they relate current situations to past experiences. Then pay attention to their appreciation for familiar routines or objects. Like for me, I tend to do things in the same way every time. I drink the same coffee. I tend to wake up at the same time if my children allow me to. I like to keep a familiar routine. It's safe, it's comfortable, I know what to expect, and it's soothing in a way. Finally, listen for detailed recollections of past events. Now, a lot of times we won't get all of the details, but we will come at it with a strong sensation. It's like an INFP who keeps a journal, not just of events, but of sensory details. The smell of the rain on a specific significant day, the texture of a loved one's favorite sweater, the smell of a cologne of your first love. This is SI at work, creating a rich internal world of memory. While SI can sometimes make INFPs resistant to change or overly focused on what happened in the past, it also provides us with a wealth of personal experiences to draw from for our creative endeavors, our creative pursuits. We can take what happened in the past and take another thing and jam them together and come out with this new innovative idea. And last, extroverted thinking, TE, our inferior function. What if the logical external world was a challenging puzzle that you were determined to solve? That's extroverted thinking for INFPs. As our inferior function, TE represents both a challenge and an area of growth and aspiration. We know that we struggle with organization and time management and getting our life together. We aspire to have that taken care of. But we also know that we have an inferiority complex around it. It is very difficult for us to do. Imagine TE, extroverted thinking, as a stern but well-meaning teacher, pushing INFPs to engage with external systems and logic. While it is one of our clear weaknesses, developing TE can help turn INFPs and their ideals into concrete realities. We need it. We need to organize our life. And most of us fight it for most of our lives. To recognize TE development in INFPs, first notice their efforts to organize their external environment and support them with it. Also observe their attempts to create and follow structured plans. Attempts. It's a struggle. Then pay attention to their growing interest in efficiency and productivity. I'm 40 now. As I've reached this point in my life, I've learned more about how to organize my life, and I've appreciated it more. Even now, if it's not on my schedule, I likely won't do it, or I'll forget about it. So I put it in my schedule, and I'm starting to create more routines for it and templatize my life. Also, watch for moments when we try to articulate ideas in a more logical and structured manner. This was one of the main reasons for me doing YouTube videos. I wanted to learn how to do that, how to explain my point in a clear, logical, structured manner. Think about an INFP who, despite their natural inclination towards flexibility, eventually decides to create a detailed schedule to complete a passion project. They know that it won't do itself. It needs to have a schedule. It needs to have a structure. They might struggle initially, but as they develop their TE, they begin to become more adept at turning their creative visions into tangible outcomes without so much exploration and getting lost in new ideas. While TE is often a source of stress for INFPs, especially when underdeveloped, it also offers a pathway to bring ideals and values into the real world in practical and impactful ways. By understanding how these 4 cognitive functions work together, we can appreciate the unique blend of idealism, creativity, personal values, and growing practicality as we get older in our life, more control over our emotional state, how we feel about things, and the things that we do, how we show up in the world that characterizes INFPs. The journey for INFPs involves balancing this rich inner world with the demands of the external environment, leading to a personality type that is both deeply introspective and capable of profound impact on the world around us. And that's how the unique blend of INFP cognitive functions shapes the inner world, the perspective of INFPs. But there's an intriguing aspect that we haven't explored yet. Understanding the cognitive functions is just the beginning. What if I told you that knowing how to harness them effectively can transform not just personal growth, but also your relationships? Click on this video over here to discover how INFPs can leverage their traits to build deeper and more fulfilling, more meaningful connections with others. I'll see you there. Bye.